On today's DNVR Buffs Live, inside Coach Prime's press conference, everything we learned, and things got spicy. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your front range Toyota stores. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. It's time. It's week one. It's game week. How are you feeling?
I feel so good. I'm so ready for football. We just got to watch an upset.
Yeah. First game of the season.
You can always count on college football to just deliver for you.
It's unbelievable.
First game of the season, everyone watching, great upset. Beautiful thing. Then you get probably the most obnoxious fan base in all of college football, absolutely melting down for us to, just enjoy from afar. It's always fun when everyone melts down. Shout out to college football for being the most perfect sport, aside from all of the corruption and bullshit that happens on the administrative side. Once the game is on the field, most perfect sport.
Oh, man, it's just great to be able to watch some actual live football being played. We'll get into that week 0 game between Florida State and Georgia Tech. But today, Coach Prime, for week 1 press conference, basically. This is it. We're going now.
I know. Does it feel like it?
Not really.
Yeah, it's because it's Saturday.
Yeah.
It really throws off the vibes. But we're here.
Hank Zilinskas, Mark Vassett, and Alejandro Mata also spoke on the podium. We will get to them shortly, but we will start. Coach Prime opened up speaking about NDSU and head coach Tim Polasic in his opening statement. Wonderful coach. I've got the utmost respect for he and his program. This team will be well prepared. They will be disciplined. Once again, Coach Prime on record, respecting his opponent and fellow head coach.
I have that's weird because I've been told that Coach Prime just talks shit every week.
Yeah, all about himself, no respect.
Every single time, except for... Well, no, because that happened right before the game, right? The Jay Norvell thing?
He respected Jay Norvell.
Yeah, he said nice things about Jay Norvell.
And then Jay did his thing, and then Coach responded.
And even Matt Rule, he said nice things about him.
Yep.
People not paying attention, as always.
Every time, man. Every time. He was also asked about how he thinks the Buffs are prepared for NDSU and what the matchup looks like from his point of view. He said, don't underestimate the depth that we have on the defensive line. I'm excited about what I've seen in practice. I'm excited about what I think we're going to see next Thursday.
Love it. Absolutely love it. By the way, shout out to everyone who came down to the bar today.
Yep.
Kind of an unfortunate situation. Nobody's fault. But we planned this event to be in conjunction with the first game of the season. We were planning on being live downstairs, hanging out with you guys. Then, of course, Coach Prime and the Buffs scheduled their week 1 press conference right in the middle of that. I don't think we could have predicted that to happen. So we weren't able to be here for most of the event, but got to talk to everyone that we could once we got here. It sounds like a lot of you guys won free tickets, so congratulations. Yep. And we'll see you at the tailgate.
Hell yeah, man. 5 days away?
I think we're 4. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday is the game.
Skip Sunday.
Oh, fuck. I keep thinking it's Sunday.
No.
Damn.
I wish we were a day closer.
All right. That's fine. 5 days.
Kale, do you want to throw up this clip about Coach Prime staying motivated against playing an FCS team? Because, obviously North Dakota State, kind of a FCS titan, but they are an FCS team. I think you can, especially with Nebraska the week after. I think it's a reasonable thought that maybe I don't want to say looking ahead, but kind of a bit of that. But with the first game of the season, he kind of spoke about that. So here's Coach.
When you're playing an FCS team, is it easier to get everyone's on board when you say, hey, they've won 17 national titles, and you show them the film and they look more like a maybe?
No, I don't think that encourages them. I think, who we are encourages them. Everybody knows, everybody want to beat us, and we want to beat everybody. So that encourages them tremendously. They know they're on national television. They know the world is watching. I think we had 4, 5, maybe 5 scouts out there today, scouts out there every day watching practices. They see that kind of stuff. So regardless of who you place on the roster, not the roster, the schedule, these guys want it. They want to go out there and dominate.
It just goes back to what I think I've seen, what Neely said he's seen from this team. They're mentally locked in, man. They're so ready.
Look, this is football, so there's always a chance you can lose when you go out there. But if Colorado loses this game, it's not because they overlooked North Dakota State.
No.
I don't think anyone can overlook their week 1 opponent.
Right.
It's the easiest opponent to prepare for. You have unlimited time. It's one thing if you're on a time crunch. So let's just say these were reversed. You played Colorado State first, then North Dakota State, then Nebraska. In that world, I could at least understand the narrative around it of, okay, they've got this big rivalry game coming up after Nebraska. They're just coming off an emotional win against another rival. Maybe they do look too far forward. They've had unlimited time to prepare for North Dakota State. There's no world in which they're not prepared and they overlooked them and didn't take them seriously. Like, they've heard all of the people saying that they're going to lose. They've heard all of the people, out there talking about North Dakota State and how they're a giant killer. And I hope the players don't even know that North Dakota State hasn't beat an FBS program since 2016. I hope they think they just play an FBS program every year and win.
Yep.
But you don't overlook your week 1 opponent. Florida State didn't overlook Georgia Tech. Now, I do think teams might stop agreeing to play in Dublin. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
But no one's overlooking their week 1 opponent. This is their first chance. They just want to go out there and, like Coach Prime said, dominate.
Yep. I think that's what we're going to see, too. Just the general vibe from Coach Prime, the coaches, the players, even just, Neely and the people around the building. They are not overlooking this team in the slightest. They are taking it very seriously. And as you said, it's week 1, and we know what Shador did in week 1 last year. So,
just as a reminder, 510 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
That doesn't even sound real when you say it out loud.
I know.
It really was a movie.
This season's about to be a movie. Coach Prime was also asked about the hiring of George Helow. He said he's unbelievable. You talk about a pro. He commands the players' attention. His track record is unbelievable. I'm really happy we have him, as well as Adalius Thomas. He mentioned Adalius Thomas, not as big of a role as George Helow or many of the other coaches. He's kind of, being a father and all this other stuff, too.
As Coach Prime said, that's more important to him than anything.
Of course. But he's around the program. He's helping coach the guys on defense and all that. So
yeah, I mean, great question by Nikki asking about George Helow because it was great insight. I mean, almost a blessing from the football gods. I've been thinking a lot about the football gods recently, and I think this was a classic one. Or they were just like, hey, this coach is going to leave, and you're going to have an opportunity to add a coach, and because of that, you're going to get a really, really good one.
Yep. Coach Prime was then asked about Hank Zilinskas and how he became Colorado's starting center. He said, consistency. Hank is not only smart, Hank is consistent. He loves the game and loves to compete. I'm truly proud of him. He's done a wonderful job. He's one of those guys that didn't flinch. And he also mentioned Trevor, Ben, Charlie, a lot of the OBs, Camden, as other players who also didn't flinch, welcomed the challenge, and are now in the spotlight and being rewarded for it.
Yep.
Next clip, Kale. RK asked, what'd you ask Coach Prime? What was the question?
I just love this whole situation. I asked Coach Prime, Are you someone who would name a starter at starters at a position where you know there's going to be rotation, like running back, wide receiver? I actually, when I was getting ready this morning, was going to jokingly ask Coach Prime, like, "Are you ready to name a starter at quarterback?" But I went with this instead, and I'll talk. We'll play the clip, and then I'll talk about my takeaway from it afterwards. Do you name starters at positions where there'll be like rotations, such as running back or wide receiver?
It really don't benefit us to name a starter. That's for you guys. If you want that, we'll probably try to provide for you. But that don't matter who starts the game. It matters who finishes the game and who makes the most out of their opportunities. And some guys, they play better, coming in late. Or third down, or coming in on the nickel or dime packages, or the third down receiving package. Some guys are just built like that. Some guys, they play better early. Then, you tear them out for the other guy, and the other guy comes in and kick butt. But the best thing about that is to have enough depth to be able to do that. You can close your eyes and point at the receiver board and pull out a starter. Same thing with the defensive line. Same things with the outside linebackers. Same thing with the cornerbacks. Same thing with the running backs, and so forth. So I love the roster that we've established. I love what I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis, not only from the players, but from the staff as well. Those guys are challenging those guys to do their jobs at a high level with no exceptions, and that's what I love. I'm surrounded by a bunch of pros who knows how to attack the game.
Kale, how long was that clip?
A minute and 20 seconds-ish.
And what were you about to say?
Should say shout out Quinn Perry in the
comments.
comments.
Shout out Quinn Perry. Forever Buff right there in the comments. The clip was 90 seconds long about. And Travis says it right here in the comments. I thought he was about to go off on RK, but then he remembered RK's cool. It's exactly the take. Not actually that I'm cool. That's up for you guys to decide. But Coach Prime didn't like my question. He didn't want, and it's fine. He said, well, how would it benefit us to name starters? Good point. But because of a relationship that we've created, he said, I'm still going to give you a good answer. Mm-hmm. That's what, that's a part of this. It's a part of the job.
Yes.
Is putting yourself in a position to where you're getting good answers from people. If nobody likes you, they're not going to give you good answers.
100%. I actually love that you asked that question, though, because a lot of, we talk about running back, and the chat freaks out every time we talk about them. How could you guys, Charlie's not the most talented. Look, I don't think we're saying that. First off, we're telling you what's happening at practice.
Yes.
But second, what Coach Prime was saying, it's kind of irrelevant, the term starters.
It is. And as we talked about yesterday, the reason we talk about it is because it's off-season talk.
Yeah.
That's what you talk about in the off-season. Who's starting here? Everyone loves the depth. Well, everyone watches the depth chart prediction episode.
Yep.
I don't know if everyone loves it. Some people hate it. But the point is, that's just what we talk about. And the answer, I wasn't expecting Coach Prime to say, yes, Charlie's starting at running back.
Right.
These are the 4 wide receivers that are starting if we had come out in 4 wide. I was just curious what he would say.
Yeah.
Which is why I asked. So I'm fine with him saying there's no benefit for us naming starters, and I think he's right about that. I think about it more of like a 6th man in basketball. Some guys are just built to be a 6th man. Buffs fans will remember Askia Booker, who was a great Buff on the basketball team, and up until his senior year, he always came off the bench because he's like that instant offense guy.
Yeah.
Some guys are like that. Some guys, like Coach Prime said, maybe a power running back comes in and wears down the defense. You bring the speed guy off the bench, and now they're a little worn down. So anyways, it was an interesting answer, but he went on and on and on because there's levels to this.
There is. I mean, he also said in that clip, too, he loves the roster, loves what he's seeing on the field, not just from the players, but from the coaches. Coach Prime feels really, really good about the team that he's built this season.
Yep.
Next, Coach Prime was asked about the future, kind of. How do you feel about coaching Shedeur, Shiloh, Travis, last time all together? And, he went into, of course, I'm a dad as well. When I step off the field, that's when I go into dad mode and all this stuff. But the most interesting part of the quote he said was, I'm just getting started in this college football thing. I'm 100% sure I'm not going to be their coach next year, which we didn't need to hear that.
Yeah, of course not.
But for some reason, Coach Prime feels he needs to keep saying it because people keep wondering this stupid question all the time.
I'm just getting started in this college football thing. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. People are going to say that. And the second Coach Prime is on the field for next fall camp, they'll just move it down a year.
Right. Of course.
Until eventually they can say, we were right.
Yep. Remember,
Told you they were going to leave.
Remember, he was supposed to get fired after this year, after only winning one game.
Yep.
Coach Prime was asked about the tight ends and the role in this year's offense. I thought this was great from Coach. He said block first, being a receiver second. You know, last year Mikey did a great job, but defenses didn't change last year because we had a tight end / receiver in the game. When we put a tight end in the game, we want that personnel to change on the defense so we can do some of the things that we want to do.
That's really good insight. Can you actually read it again? Because I want everyone to make sure they're listening.
Block first, receiver second. Defenses didn't change last year because we had a tight end / receiver in the game. When we put a tight end in, we want that personnel to change on the defense so we can do some of the things we want to do.
Okay. So, just to put this in simple terms, everyone, not everyone, but people play CFB 25. Mm-hmm. So you understand if you come out in dime personnel and the other team comes out in goal line, you're in trouble.
You're in deep shit. Yeah.
Because what happens is they have all these offensive linemen out there blocking your secondary. And you don't even really want offensive linemen on your linebackers, let alone offensive linemen on safeties and corners.
Yep.
So what Coach Prime is saying here is we want to tell the defense something with our personnel so that they have to change their personnel. And hopefully you can be successful enough to say, even if you're bringing a linebacker onto the field, we can still run the ball. But also you have less defensive backs on the field, which will help us pass the ball.
Yep. He's totally referencing last year with the last part where he says, so we can do some of the things we want to do. They clearly weren't able to do a lot of what they wanted to do offensively last season.
I mean, play, action, pass.
Yes.
They couldn't do it. They wanted to do it a lot of times. They couldn't run play action because the defense, go watch any game in the second half of last year. Watch when they do a play action fake and watch the linebackers.
Yep.
When you do a play action fake, your goal is to mess with the linebackers. You want to get them moving towards the line of scrimmage and open up space between them and the safeties. When the linebackers don't bite on the play action, all you're doing is giving the pass rush an extra beat to get home. Hopefully, when you're successful running the football, you're actually giving the pass an extra beat to get off, because not only are the linebackers coming down and you're opening up lanes, but also the pass rushers can't just pin their ears back and try to run around, because if you do that in a run play, you're going to open up a massive hole.
Yep. Well said. Everyone in the Toyota chat's asking about Travis. Travis is fine, guys. It's just load management. He's going to be out there for 100+ snaps on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, I told you guys this before. Like, I remember Nelson Spruce, when it was his senior year, the first practice of fall camp, he got, nicked. And I think it was Mike McIntyre was the coach back then. He was just like, you know what? Why would we risk you getting hurt? We know that you know all this stuff. You'll take mental reps on the sideline. I think that's really what's going on with Travis here.
Yep.
He's fine. He will be out there on Thursday from everything that we know. And they're just trying to make sure that that he's healthy.
Right.
Coach Prime said it a million times. He could roll out of bed and play man coverage.
Yep. And he's one of the smartest kids on the team, and he's one of the most dedicated in terms of film study, too.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know he's getting his more than enough mental reps, and he knows what he's walking into on Thursday. Let's hit a break real quick, and then we will wrap up what Coach Prime said and then get to the players. Shout out to our friends over at Circle K. Sorry, Circle K, but we really just need your help, man. Come through, please. You got space across the street, down the street, this way. We just want some Polar Pops, some 79-cent Polar Pops.
We do.
Maybe 20 cents off a gallon with our Inner Circle membership. Every fifth item free on plenty of other things over there at Circle K. But it's your one-stop shop on the road, whether it's gas, snacks, whatever you need. And you can become an Inner Circle member over at circlek.com/inner-circle. For more info on how to do that, check the link in the description.
Also, shout out to True Fan Travel. They're in charge of our trip to Lincoln, which you can still purchase ticket and tailgate packages through True Fan Travel by going to truefantravel.com/trips and looking up our trip to Lincoln. These guys are like experts on this stuff. It's really nice to have them in our corner because they've almost done a trip everywhere.
Yeah.
At the very least, they have relationships with hotel operators, airlines, tailgate people, lots, all of that stuff. So they're a huge help to us, and they really know how to throw a good party. So we're excited to partner with them in Lincoln and hopefully many more in the future. Head over to truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today. One more thing on Travis. Most players, and this is just the cost of doing business, by the end of fall camp are no longer at 100% health.
Right.
That's just it. That's just how football works. You start at 100 before fall camp or training camp starts, and you just progressively go down from there.
They've been going 5 to 6 days a week the last 3-4 weeks.
And so it's not ideal, but it is what happens.
Yep.
No one is going to play as much football this year as Travis Hunter. So by resting him now, you're actually allowing him to start Thursday at 100 and then, hopefully stay as close to there as you can moving forward. But he's going to end up playing more snaps than any other person on this football team.
Yep.
So you're giving him a little bit of a head start, a little bit of extra rest before he actually has to go out there and be Travis Hunter for, 100 plays a game.
Exactly. I mean, let's not forget, this is the guy who hardly practiced in the lead up to Utah. Didn't know he was going to play until 30 minutes before the game.
I was going to say, he didn't even have a jersey the first time we saw him at Utah.
Yep. Went into the locker room, decided, I'm going to do it. Came out full equipment, and then went out and balled and, frankly, almost single-handedly beat Utah, although they were shorthanded too.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Nicholas. He mentions Khalil Benson. He is also back at practice in full go, according to Neely, too. So
the man, I was just watching him walk up the hill today. He just...
Khalil?
Yes. Just looks different.
Yeah.
There's no one who looked like that on the team last year.
Definitely not.
Also, bring back the neck roll.
Oh, I love it.
Did you
for
see
him.
the Georgia Tech line? There's a Georgia Tech linebacker who had it on out there.
Really?
Number 44, the big neck roll. I was like,
Yeah.
that's football.
Hell yeah, it is. I asked Coach Prime, and shout out to my guy. Let me get this, because like we talked about earlier in the week, like when I ask questions, like I want to ask what the fans want to know, type of thing.
That's who we work for.
So shout out to Darius Baylock, who messaged me on IG with this idea. And so I asked Coach Prime, who does he have for the L and the D patches on the jerseys for leaders and dogs?
First of all, let me just tap into this really quick. I won't get too overly, praise here. But great job by sending that question by Darius. Right? That was what you said.
Yep.
Great job by you to not have like so much ego to say like, no, look, I'm the guy who asked the questions here. I'll come up with my own. Like, you saw that, you're like, that's a good question. I'll ask it.
Yeah.
That's what we're about here.
Yep. So Coach said, Charlie Offerdahl, Cameron Sylvan Craig, Shador Sanders, and mate will have L's on their jerseys for leaders. And then he said, I'll give out the dogs the week of the game. Obviously, this week he'll give them out. We have a bunch of potential guys who can fit that mold. Travis is definitely one of them. No surprise there.
I saw Mate and Mata standing outside the press conference room when I walked in. And I love our relationship, especially with Mate, but also Mata. And I just looked at them and I said, don't fuck this up, guys. They both just started dying laughing.
They were awesome out there today. Let's speculate. Travis is one of them.
Okay, are we getting 4? We're gonna
he gave
assume
out
there's
4 L's. I'm assuming
Yep.
we need 3 more D's for dogs.
Okay.
Preston Hodge for me.
Yep. LaJonte Wester.
Okay. And then Khalil Benson, BJ Green, Deion Hayes, Trevor Woods,
Micah Welch.
Michael Welsh. Shoot, even Dowlin, I think you could throw in there.
So right now we have Travis, who's on both teams.
Yep.
You said a defense guy. I said an offensive guy. Is it last year? It was Jace Feely.
That is true.
Mate.
He's got
the L.
He's got the L. Does Mata get a D?
dog?
Maybe.
I'm calling that. I'm calling my shot on that.
All right.
Mata gets the 4th D.
So I think it will be Travis, LaJonte, Preston, and then I'll go with your pick, Mata.
All right.
But look, man, he's throwing a lot of praise onto BJ Green. I think he's a big-time candidate to be a dog. And then we've heard a lot about Khalil Benson and the nastiness he brings. That sounds like a dog to me.
I almost said something that I would have said if Neely was here, but I'm not going to say it today.
Last clip we're going to show today. And it's a relevant topic, obviously. A lot of people wondering about Coach Prime's stance with critical questions and where they stand with Coach Prime. And so, you guys are watching. Let me know in the chat. Was this a roundabout way to ask this question?
We're going here. Okay.
Hey, Mark Kisla, Denver Gazette.
How you doing, sir?
Good. Two-parter.
Okay.
Go back to the elite competitor. Do you
Yes, sir.
think a elite competitor blocks the outside noise or feeds on the outside noise?
You don't care, really, because it don't influence you. I've never read an article or a comment and said, oh, that's going to make me go harder. I'm going to go hard regardless. But that comment just allowed me to know where you stand.
Okay.
So that's the only differential of the thing. It doesn't propel me. Where I came from propelled me.
Okay.
How I grew up propelled me. Like, being African American, one of few that's a head coach in college football, that kind of stuff propels me. It's not what you say. That lets me know where you stand.
Okay, then the second part goes to where do you stand, or where do I stand, or where do we stand together? So I hope that I'm covering you from now through the college football playoff.
I hope so, too.
Yeah.
I pray so.
Yeah. But I'm also known as a person that sometimes asks less than supportive questions or critical questions.
I don't
so if I
mind.
ask a negative question,
I don't
will you
mind.
not answer them anymore?
That's being negative right now. Like, you take an approach that I'm going to be negative. I'm not negative to anybody in here. I will challenge you and ask you why or where is this coming from. So I'm not built like that. I'm not built to hate. I'm not a hateful guy. I come with love. I think if anybody in here has had encounters with me, I don't come with the bull junk. I come with the peace and the joy. Now, when you show me where you stand, I might have to change that a little bit. So I'm not going to match your ignorance or whatever. Not saying that you're ignorant, but a person, I'm not going to match that. Well, that's your prerogative. I don't have to come where you are because my life is complete. I don't like what you say, what you do is not going to change my life.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
With as many good things happening in this program, this football program, do you feel persecuted by outside noise?
I don't know about persecuted. This is a way of life for me. You guys act like this is the first time I've been shot at. I've been lied on, cheated, talked about, mistreated. That's a gospel song, ain't it? This is not the first time for this. But as I mature, instead of shooting back or lashing out or just dismissing you, I want to know why. Like, let's help each other. Let's figure out the why. Because if you understand the why in people, that helps you tremendously. Because that's all I come for. I just come to find. I want to know why. What provokes that?
Roundabout?
Didn't seem very direct to me.
You want to go down this road?
I thought you wanted to.
Let's go.
All right.
Set the table.
So that was Mark Kisla. So about a year and a half ago, we were at spring practices, and the media's invited to practice.
Yep.
And we were told the rules
By the
were...
way, think about this. That's the first practices since Coach Prime has got here.
Yes.
At least once a week, we were getting invited to go.
Yes.
All of the media.
Yep. The rules were no tweeting, no live tweeting during practice. Don't report like what you see and all that. Like, you can cover it, but
Yeah,
after.
it was like don't report formations
Yes.
or who's lining up where, that sort of thing.
Yep. And also, one more, which was the legendary Colorado football coach, Bill McCartney, who was at practice. He goes to practice quite often when he's at CU. He was there that day. And we were told, do not talk to Coach McCartney.
Just make sure when you say we, you clarify that as the media was going into practice, we're all in a room That was the last thing that Curtis said as he's handing us our credentials to go in.
Yep.
Please do not talk to Coach McCartney as he's struggling with Alzheimer's, and the family has requested that he doesn't do media.
So what ended up happening at that practice is Mark Kisla approached Bill McCartney and interviewed a man with Alzheimer's, and then proceeded to basically bash him in an article.
I don't want to, because I don't think it needs to be overblown. Bash, whatever. Very intimate details were shared in the article.
Yes.
And then I would say, like, poked fun at the fact that he was wearing red gloves, considering he was the person who started I'd rather be dead than red.
Yep.
So again, I don't feel we have to exaggerate that point. I didn't think that was appropriate to share that detail because obviously the man is not as sharp as he once was.
Yep.
And then also there's parts in there about like him saying like I'm a really sad lad, like talking about how sad he is and how he's and it's like if you're talking to someone, if you interview me and I tell you this stuff and I'm very obviously sound of mind, I know that this is an interview and I'm comfortable sharing these details with you, that's one thing. If you're interviewing a person who is clearly not as sharp as they once were and not as sound of mind as they once were, their filter for what they should and shouldn't say to you and what they do and don't want printed, we have no idea where that stands.
Yep.
So to me, writing that article, putting that out was not appropriate. And I can say for a fact that I am not the only person who feels that way.
Yes.
Including people who are much closer to Coach McCartney than I am. So.
And the program.
Yesterday, when the Denver Post, kind of got on there, I don't know. When the Denver Post, I'm trying to keep this as factual as possible. When the Denver Post put out the article saying, Coach Prime will no longer take questions from Sean Keeler because they said that he got personal attacks and they cited this and they cited that. And like, I was like, okay, so we're writing articles about access now. How come you guys never wrote an article about how your columnist went out of bounds and went against the direct request of the Sports Information Department and the family of Bill McCartney, who Curtis was carrying out that request? How come we never heard an article about that? And how, guess what? There's never been an open practice since, except for the one that was open to the public last week.
Exactly. So that's why we can't see practice.
So when you guys are getting all the sympathy, you want to post it.
Yep.
But when you were the ones at fault and screwed the rest of us over, that just it's not newsworthy.
Yep. So that's the situation. And then we walk out of the press conference room. We're just doing our thing. We're going to go talk to Neely, shoot our video. You get approached by one Mark Kisla outside the press conference room today.
Yeah, and it started with roundabout. He said he didn't think that was a roundabout way of asking the question, which we already agreed it was. And I wasn't even, I'm being so honest here, I wasn't saying that as like a shot at the question.
Yeah.
I was just laying out what happened. It was very obvious that that's what it was about, which that's fine. And I actually, if you want to ask about that, I think it's kind of a good thing for Coach Prime to have the opportunity to answer that publicly. But it was a roundabout. That's just a fact, in my opinion, that it was a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Kisla didn't like that I said that it was roundabout. He said he's not roundabout. We went back and forth on that for a minute. And then he said that I have bad information on that whole situation and that he didn't know that we weren't supposed to do that.
Yep.
Which I categorically disagree with.
Yep. It was all right there.
What were you thinking?
I mean, about what, the interaction? I was thinking, I just wanted to hear what he had to say, honestly. Like, because I knew all this already, too. And the fact that he's saying, like, we don't have the facts correct when we've heard it from, people close to Coach, close to the program, close to Coach Prime as well, that they did not like that. And they were frankly quite upset about it. And he just had no clue was...
Disingenuous.
Yes. Disingenuous. It was hilarious. It was a lot of words.
I wish there was a camera there.
It's a shame. But That's why we can't watch practice.
Did you feel like I handled it?
Oh, beautifully.
Okay.
Beautifully. It was great.
I knew this was going to happen at some point
Yeah.
because I said it whenever this started. Like, I don't feel like I'm on their team, and they don't feel like I'm on their team,
Yep.
and that's fine.
It is fine. All right, let's chill.
I'm on their team.
Chat?
The chat.
Man of the people. It's time to chill with our friends over at Coors Light. And shout out to Coors Light because they helped put on this event today at the bar.
Yeah. And they gave out the tickets.
They did give out the tickets, and then shout out to the one lucky person who won online as well. So yeah, we hope to see a bunch of you at a tailgate and where we can all enjoy many more Coors Lights together. But come down to the bar. We're going to be hanging out after this, just watching some football. It's football season at the DNVR bar. What better time to enjoy some Coors Light? Make the most out of times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Also, a shout out to Circus Sportsbook. Download the Circus Sports app at circusports.com and get in on handcrafted lines, the best lines out there because these are humans creating their betting lines rather than just computers, which are running millions of simulations. And because of that, they can, editorialize a little bit. That's been a word that's been big lately.
Yeah.
They can editorialize a little bit with their lines. Maybe they're trying to entice you a little bit by giving you a better price on something that you want. And so you want to play that game. Regardless, especially when it comes to props, long season bets, those sorts of things, Circus Sports is the best. So download the Circus Sports app by going to circusports.com. Circus Sports bets can only be made while physically in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circus Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All these press conferences are up on our YouTube page. Go and watch them after the show. Some highlights from Mata and Mate real quick. Mata was asked about his kicking range. As we know, he's been working really hard to just be a better distance kicker and just be a better football player, really, this entire offseason. He said, right now I feel comfortable from 53 to 55 and under. Thanks to Coach Mo, this is the strongest I've ever been.
Let's go.
Mata from 54 and under automatic results in a lot of easy points, a lot of wins for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't like... let's just get first downs.
Yes, that's true.
But I love the idea that you can go to Mata from, let's just say, 50, which is not something I don't think you would have been comfortable doing last year. And
Right.
the evidence would show us that in most of those situations, they went to Jace.
Yep.
And so I don't even honestly know if they would attempt a 55-yarder. But if you can go to Mata from 50, that changes things for sure.
Definitely. Mate also said that he expects or wants to be the best punter in the country. We had Jacob throw out him winning the Ray Guy Award in our bold predictions yesterday.
Let's go. Shout out J-Po.
The guys were asked, what are they looking forward to the most this season? Mata said the UCF games because it's closer to home, but Mate said winning a lot of games. I know this group will. We all have a common goal, and that's to win and win now, and I believe we're going to.
Let's go.
Hank Zilinskas
By the way, I just love Mark's perspective, Mate's perspective.
Oh, his when he was asked about his age, great answer too.
It was hilarious. But I think that because of his age, and also because of the fact that his background is in a completely different sport.
Yes.
He joked with us when he got to the U.S., he didn't even know anything about football. He just punted.
Yeah.
Figured out how to, the rules of that was all that mattered to him. But now he's kind of been able to take this 30,000 foot view because it's a little bit different for him. Now, at this point, he does understand ball and knows ball quite well. But I just like his perspective on things because I think that it sounds like a bad thing if I say it, but he's a little bit removed.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily a college kid who's just out there, he's 1 degree different. He's still absolutely a part of the team. But I think that his perspective comes from a slightly different place than anyone else.
Yep. And he talked about that. He's he said, like, I'm thankful that I had like a whole career basically before I became a college football player, and how that changed his perspective.
People don't know. I don't think everyone knows Mate was working construction
Yeah.
in Australia
Yep.
before he became a punter.
Yep. Yeah, dude. I think most of, if not all, the players have earned this opportunity, but he especially has. Just his path to get to where he is now. Hank Zilinskas then took the podium for his first time as a Buff. He said on the offensive line's chemistry, it's easy to develop chemistry when you've got a lot of like-minded individuals. We've got a lot of guys who want to win and do great. Because of that, we were able to gel well. A lot of talk about offensive line shuffling right now and what's going on there. But as we've heard from Neely, as we heard from Coach Lodeholt, and as we now heard from Hank, this group is really tight. They all understand that there's a common mission, a common goal. And I think that should alleviate some of the concerns of the mixing and matching on the offensive line that's going right now. Because Coach Lodeholt said, too, like, I've got my 5.
Yep.
And Khalil's back today.
Yeah, he's been back for a minute.
Yeah. This was great. Hank was asked why he stayed committed to CU after being recruited. Did you ask him this?
I did.
He's asked, you asked him, why did he stay committed to CU after being recruited by the previous
But
staff?
who will hold him accountable, Jake?
Who holds all of us accountable, right? Who holds you accountable, Kale?
My bosses, probably.
Hank said, I bet on myself. I know who I am. When all the change was happening, I just put my nose to the grindstone and kept going.
Tyler Childers reference.
Really?
I don't know, but there is a song called Nose of the Grindstone by Tyler Childers.
Hank was then asked about his relationship with Shador. He said, we have a really good relationship. We're always bouncing ideas off each other. I feel like we're developing a really strong relationship. And then it was also asked specifically about that interaction earlier this week where Shador's, kind of talking to Hank, telling him, hey, man, like, don't be afraid to, like, say something. I don't know what the situation was, obviously, but don't be afraid to stand up and say something. Like, he said, like, get on the ball or something like that. Like, you're the center. Like, you can control this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I just asked about their relationship because I thought Shador and, God, why am I blanking on this? Van Wells. I thought they had a great relationship last year. And Van was, very lauded for his understanding of things. But from who we talked to, I think actually Justin Mayer said it on record with us, like, Hank Zilinskas is really smart.
Yeah.
And so if you're Shador, it's like, hey, man, we want your insights.
Yeah.
If you see something, like, make sure you point it out, especially if you don't see me point it out.
Right.
Like, Shador has, I would say, arguably the best football IQ in college football. Mm-hmm. But doesn't mean he can see everything 100% of the time. So, that's the center's job as well, is to look out there, make sure you're pointing things out. If you just watch an NFL game on Sunday, you'll see the center get to the line, and even when he's over the ball, like, say, hey, do you see this? This guy's creeping down, or they're offset a little bit. Just keep an eye on that, whatever it is. So the two of them together should have a whole lot of brain power to put into understanding what they're looking at.
Yep. Hank said, I'm not a freshman anymore. I don't have the time to be timid or quiet. Love to hear that. That was today's press conferences. Again, they are all available on our YouTube channel. Go check them out in full length. The field looks great.
It does.
There are maybe some slight concerns because of the concert last week and all that, but the field looks great.
Yeah, and I was incredibly relieved to hear that they practiced on that field yesterday.
Yep.
And they didn't have to, like, avoid the north end zone or anything like that. It looked to me from my eyes when I looked out there today that they replaced 24 yards plus the end zone. So I guess that would be about 34 yards of the field, which is essentially the stage. And that's going to put the most pressure on the field. The rest of the field looked completely fine. So they did a good job of protecting that. But when you put, I don't know, probably like, I actually have no idea how much a stage weighs. A lot of weight on the field, it's going to kill that grass. And so they replaced that part. And from what I know, I believe that was paid for by the concert organizers.
Yes.
Which is a nice little, thing for CU that they didn't have to take that out of their profit. But the field looks good.
It does.
And they've still got, as you pointed out, 5, not 4 days to get everything in good shape. I was very concerned about that. The concert last week was Tyler Childers. I was there. It was awesome.
And then yesterday was the kickoff luncheon / like welcome the freshman type of day thing. I don't know what they call it.
They didn't have
there.
that when I was in school.
Yeah.
Well, we had our own thing, but it wasn't at the stadium.
Right. So yeah, they were all at the stadium, and Coach Prime spoke in front of them on the field. But we also got our first look at Ralphie, and we
Yes.
were just talking about her yesterday. I think
We were. And let me just say this too about the speech that Coach Prime gave.
Yeah.
Absolute banger of a mic drop at the end, and he said, "I don't want you guys getting in trouble. I want to see A's, B's, no trouble. But when you come to the stadium next Thursday, I want you to act a fool."
Yep. Hell yeah.
And I'll take you up on that, Coach Prime, even though I'm not a freshman in college
Here's a look
or in
at-
college at all.
Well, you are a part of that community. Here's a look at our girl Ralphie taking off running for the first time.
Look at those horns,
She's gained about 150 pounds.
as reported by DNVR Buffs.
Yes. Your analysis on the first Ralphie run of the year.
Still looking for a little more depth,
Yep.
but she does look bigger.
Yep.
Horns have certainly grown. Those are, this is good horns.
Yep.
And let's see if we can get at least to the opposite 40.
So she
Come
was
Thursday.
around the 35, 40-ish
40,
there.
yeah.
So progress.
It is what it is.
Hopefully she gets.
I should have asked Coach if they're going to run out behind her this year. I feel like regardless of what it was, the answer would be funny.
Yeah, it's something about how he's scared of Ralphie or something.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
But there you go. Hopefully Ralphie is fired up for Thursday and we get 15, 20 extra yards out of her.
Maybe she, preseason for all of us.
That's true. All right. There was some football on TV today. The number 10 Florida State
There's
Seminoles.
more, right? Like,
There's more coming up.
Is there some going on right now?
I think it kicks off around this time if it's not going right now.
We got McNeese and Tarleton State going.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got Montana State and New Mexico. Your alma mater.
Yay. They're going to get worked, bro.
They're up 17-7, bro.
Oh, they're going to get worked.
I was actually going to bet New Mexico money line.
Were they dogs?
Yeah, 13 or like 10-point dogs.
Oh, man. Just wait. Hold
on.
Okay.
If New Mexico beats Montana State, Montana State was basically as good as
North Dakota
State last year.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good sign.
It's not bad. But the number 10 Florida State Seminoles took on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in Dublin, Ireland today. The Yellow Jackets pulling off the upset, 24-21. Great game. Haynes King, Georgia Tech quarterback. You may know him if you're a Buffs fan from that A&M game a few years ago.
He was so bad in that game.
He was. Buff should have won that game too.
Buff should have won that game. Unfortunately, Brendan Lewis, who I have love for, no hate, also playing tonight against SMU as a 28-point dog.
Yep.
He'll be on the field tonight. So both of the star quarterbacks from that game that took place at Mile High, in which there were 17 total points scored, will be out there today. So, anyways, Haynes King.
Haynes King wasn't really through the air. It was on the ground that I noticed him really making plays, and that's in large part to why Georgia Tech won this game. DJU was not good. 19-27 for only 193 yards, no touchdowns, no picks.
Bro, at one point we saw a... oh, hi, Allie. At one point we saw a graphic that said, like, DJU 6 of 7 under 5 yards, 1 of 2 beyond 5 yards. I'm like, bro, he's only thrown 2 passes beyond 5 yards.
Yep. The guy you mentioned, Kyle Efford, number 44 on Georgia Tech, led them in tackles with 10. He also had half a TFL. And then for those who care and for those who are wondering, DJ Lundy had 7 tackles, 1 TFL. But reports are he was what?
Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
Might have been getting circles ran around him a bit. I don't know.
All right. We weren't watching the whole game, obviously. We were at the press conference.
I'm just
We were
going off what
trying,
the chat said.
I just want to say this. We don't need to do this. Not you, just everyone else. We don't need to, hate watch DJ Lundy every week and pick apart his game. I get why people do it. It's just I don't know. I don't like it. It's just exactly what I was just saying about Brendan Lewis. Like, I'll be pulling for Brendan Lewis tonight.
We don't need to have sour grapes.
No. And I have no idea whether he was good or not. I saw the TFL. I was like, damn, that was a good play.
That was a good play. I was just going off what the chat said.
I know. I just I don't like it. I get it, and I totally get it. Like, for some reason, I don't know. Let's just keep it behind closed doors.
Okay.
Those conversations.
Your takeaways / reaction / analysis, anything from this game?
If FSU, what was FSU rank going into this game? 10. If FSU is a top 10 team, then college football is wide open this year.
Wide open.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, my other takeaway is no more games in Dublin. Not because I don't like it. Shout out Dublin. I saw the videos of Pat McAfee just like partying there. I'm like,
yeah.
I wish the Buffs would get a game here, although maybe not anymore. Just because it looked like they were having the time of their lives out there. But there's just no way teams are going to continue to commit to this because it feels like it's every time it's been there, it's been an upset. The last one was Nebraska and Northwestern.
Yes, it was.
And Nebraska did what Nebraska does and fumbled the game away, and they lost. They were like 12-point favorites in that game. Today you've got Florida State as 10-point favorites. There's a Notre Dame one. I'm guessing probably Notre Dame won that one whenever they played out there. I think they played the first one out in Dublin. But, dude, I mean, I experienced this when the Broncos went to London. That is not... It's not good for football players to be, like, cooped up on a plane for double-digit hours before trying to go play a football game. Like, that is just not... It's not good, and I think it levels the playing field a little bit that everyone's not, there's jet lag and all this stuff involved. Obviously, each coach has their plan for how they're going to get around that, but there's no guarantee of that working. And I think that, unfortunately, because I think it's a cool thing, that less and less teams are going to want to do it.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to get worse and worse games.
Yeah.
And now they got to fly back, dude. Imagine being the number 10 team in the country, got all this like motivation because you were left out of the college football playoff and this, that, and the other. You fly however many, let's just say it's a 10-hour flight. Fly 10 hours to Dublin just to lose. Now you've got a loss. You feel like shit. Your body feels like shit. And guess what? You got to get on a 10-hour flight back and go play a game. Probably not next week, but the week.
They play another conference game next week after dropping now their first conference game.
Who do they play?
Play Boston College.
That's terrible. People are mad at, I think it was, honestly, I don't know who scheduled this game. Maybe it was Rick George. People are mad at Rick George for scheduling North Dakota State at home.
Yeah.
They've got to play a game a week from now after being in Dublin?
They do play on Monday, though.
Okay, that's better.
But still
not great.
Yes.
Still not great.
And then how about tonight's game, the late game, Delaware State at Hawaii?
To Bobby McNeil, who has a very Irish-sounding name. It has nothing to do with Dublin itself. I just know how college football coaches are. They're going to see what happened and say,
why?
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, why? But speaking of traveling, the Delaware State-Hawaii game is tonight. Delaware State apparently missed that first flight to Hawaii. So they are 39-point dogs to the Rainbow Warriors tonight.
Oh, I'm on State.
Yeah?
Yeah, 39 points.
All right. What about SMU minus 27 against Brendan Lewis?
Give me Brendan Lewis.
All right.
B. Lou.
Okay. Oh, it feels so good to be talking lines 39 of games.
Hawaii?
Hawaii
did beat Colorado State last year in the final game of the season, and it was hilarious.
Great game.
One of the honestly funniest endings. We've told the story on the show before, but one of the funniest endings to a football game I've ever seen.
Just from our situation.
Yeah, just for us.
Yes.
Just for us. I mean, it was fairly normal. I guess it wasn't like a 53-yard field goal.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bomb.
It was.
But our stream cut out right as he was kicking it, and we were just like, huh! And then it just cuts to the ball going through, and Hawaii celebrating. We just start dying laughing.
Oh, man. Great stuff. Get your questions in the chat right now. We're going to hit these super chats real quick, and then we'll answer a few questions before we get out of here.
Last thing, Reef said like Georgia Tech had to do the same thing and they won. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I think that it levels things out a little bit. And again, I just know how college football coaches are. They're going to look at that and say, I want to play in my, because someone's lost the home game there.
Yep. Georgia Tech was the home team.
Okay, so Georgia Tech gave up the home game, but still, teams are not going to want to do that.
Yep. And you got the Big 12 talking about Mexico and all this stuff. Like, at least that's in the same time zone, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right. First one from Adrian.
By the way, I'm pro Mexico game.
Okay. He says, "What's good, everyone? Happy Saturday. Game 1 predictions. Mr. Legendary throws for 365 and 6 tuds. Defense will have 6 sacks and 3 INTs. The score will be 62-10. What food do y'all eat on game day?"
Do we know who's catering the tailgate?
I could figure out for you here shortly.
62-10, I love it. You sir, have let go of hell. 6 tuds. You said 7, right? Well, we were just talking off the cuff, and you're like Peyton Manning style.
Yes,
7 TDs
exactly,
in the opener.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll have our prediction episode on. Well, Wednesday we'll have a pregame show. We'll give our score predictions then.
It's got to be Tuesday then.
Tuesday we'll give our season predictions and player predictions and those sort of things. But love the confidence, Adrian. Sorry.
I don't know who we have catering the tailgate on
All right.
Thursday.
Well, what we eat is whatever Spencer, our events coordinator, books for the tailgate. Usually it's fire.
Could be illegal Pete's. Could be Saucy Southerns.
Could be. Yeah, we had like breakfast burritos for an early game. We're obviously not going to do that for a night game, but yeah, whatever it is, it's going to be good.
Appreciate you, Adrian. What's up, Baron? I watch DNVR Buffs like I watch Saturday morning cartoons. Football season is here. Week 1. Let's go. Thank you, man.
What was
Appreciate
your favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Ooh, what a question. I was a Nickelodeon kid.
Okay.
So Rugrats back in the day was just top tier. Rocket Power, of course.
Ooh, Rocket Power slaps. But remember there was like the ABC One Saturday Morning. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
There was a show in there called Recess.
Oh, great show,
Recess
bro.
was fire.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yep. Hey Arnold. Shout out Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold's a gem. And then I remember waking up early on some Saturdays to watch Yu-Gi-Oh.
Not my thing, but I respect it.
Yu-Gi-Oh is sick. Lauren with the super chat. I'm just at overly preparing for Thursday. We don't have time for reporters who talk in cursive. We love RK and Jakey Poo. Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate you.
Overly ready, that's for sure.
We are overly ready as well. Let's go to the chat. What's up, Ivan? Great to meet you earlier today.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming out as well. And I think, did he win? No, apologize. With Mata increasing long distance kicking, where does that leave Jace on the depth chart? What role will he have? Kickoff duties only? I don't know. Maybe, but they still have Palazzo, who was doing some kickoffs last year, I think, as well.
Stojanovic.
And Stojanovic is on the team now. So that's a great question, and I truly don't know.
Doug.
Oh, classic, bro. What's up, Eric? Thoughts on UConn joining the Big 12? Looking forward going to Storrs, Connecticut?
No.
Crazy situation, too, because they join in, I think it's 25 or 26. All sports but football, and then football is 2031. Bro, I have played 6 years of Dynasty. I'm only in 2030.
Just trying to live to 2031, brother.
For real. What is the point of that?
I don't know. I mean, this North Dakota State game was probably scheduled that many years ago. No, I don't want to go to Storrs, Connecticut.
Yeah.
With all due respect to anyone who lives in Connecticut. Probably not a big market for our show, if I'm being honest.
Probably not.
That's too far. It's too far. And I get they're doing it from a basketball perspective. But we don't need more good basketball teams in this conference.
Yep. Chris says, thanks for getting us through the summer, boys. Let's go. Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you, man.
That's it, boys.
That is it, huh? Wow. So Monday, you'll be gone.
Sadly.
I we'll have someone who's been on recently on that show.
Did I talk about my new favorite meme that I found on this show recently?
No.
There's a viral tweet that says, accidentally became important at work and it's ruining my life.
Yeah.
That's how I feel every time I have to miss one of these shows to do my actual job for this company.
But this is the last one.
This
right?
is the last one for a while that I'll have to miss.
And
But missing a game week show actually hurts my heart.
but we're launching too.
Yes, yes.
So there's stuff to look forward to. And then Tuesday season prediction.
Yep, and Monday or Tuesday, big announcement.
There you go. Wednesday, of course, pregame show, and then we'll be live from the facility after press conferences and all that is done for postgame Thursday night. And then Friday, I think we will have a show as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the game plan. Oh my God. Anything else?
No.
I think that's it, man.
All right.
It's
Let's
been a great off season. We made it. Congrats to everyone.
Yeah, I
High
mean,
fives.
it's technically game week now, but it'll really feel like game week on Monday morning.
Cannot wait. We will see you guys then.
Love you guys. Appreciate all your supports. Smash the like button on your way out.
Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.